What's good to you, lovely people? So, I want to welcome you to my channel, and I want to get into a hot topic today. Okay, so let's settle this once and for all: day parties versus night events. And I'm not just talking about any day party, I'm talking about Caribbean day parties. Yes, the ones with the dance hall, the soca, the waistlines, the sun, and the vibes. Now, check this out because obviously nighttime Caribbean parties have the same thing as well. You know, the soca, the dance hall, but you see, they don't have the sun part. The sun part is what's being left out here because the sun only applies to the daytime Caribbean events, and that's kind of what I want to get into. All right, so grab your drinks, kit back, and let's get into why you might want to trade that 2 a.m. stumble for a 2 p.m. wine. So let's get into it and talk about it, guys. All right, so let's break it down here. First of all, think about this. When you go to a night event, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You're getting ready at 10 p.m. You're pre-game in at what? 11, hoping that the Uber doesn't take forever. You don't even hit the venue until what? Midnight? And you know what time you're finally in your bed? 4, 5, even maybe 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, bro. Now, contrast that with a day party, especially a Caribbean day party. You pull up at around 2 p.m. The sun is shining. The DJ is already spinning the latest Afrobeat, soca, and dancehall. Everyone is already vibing. The energy is very, very much high, but it's not aggressive. You still got time in the day to enjoy life, and you don't got to sacrifice your entire next day recovering from it. See, that's the key part to all of this. The key part is you having to get up groggy and not feeling too well because you might have work early the next morning, and then you're over here stumbling and trying to recover from what you had the previous night. So just think about that. You know what I'm saying? Just think about that. You get home. Check me out right there, guys, with me and mommy. But anyways, you get to come home at a decent time, and you get to have enough time to relax and prepare yourself for bed, and you don't got to go to sleep too late. You feel me? Especially if you got work the next morning. You don't even got to call out. Just think about that. Now, let's get into the vibes. Let's talk about the vibes because that's what we're really here for, right? Now, at a night party, sometimes it takes people hours and hours to warm up. We got to talk about warming up here. It takes hours for people to warm up because, when you first come in, you got to get yourself together and all of that. So the dance floor might be dry until what? Maybe like 1:30 a.m. Everyone is standing around scrolling through Instagram, being too cool to dance. People acting like they're at a network event instead of a party. But at a Caribbean day party, different energy. Different energy, me tell you. First of all, Caribbean people know how to bring joy. They show up in color, in confidence, ready to move. The rhythm drops, people whining instantly. There's always that one auntie, especially that one auntie in the sundress, just killing it with more moves than 21-year-olds. Like, I know you guys are watching this video right now, and even in this video right here, you got some of the grown folks. They know how to get down. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these grown folks know how to get down. Don't be sleeping on them now. And that's the one thing I like with some of these events, especially like this one we was at. That's my friend Brocat right there. These events, especially the daytime ones, you got folks of all ages, like grown folks, the younger folks, and even the kids. They just be coming out and vibing, and they be getting down, man. And there's zero shame, pure freedom. You feel it in your bones and everywhere. Plus that sun hitting your skin, drinks in hand, reggae bass pumping to those speakers. It's like you're in Barbados or Trinidad or something. Even if you're just in Brooklyn or Toronto. You feel me? So here's another major point that I do want to cover, and that's health and safety. And I kind of want to get into this part as well. Night events come with risk. All right, they do come with risk, especially in night events. Think about it. You're tired, it's dark, you're driving home or catching rides at 3 a.m. Maybe tipsy, maybe you had too much. People are more aggressive at night. And that's the reality. People are more aggressive at night. Emotions run much higher. You can run into drama real quick, especially when people are lit and testosterone is flying high. Day parties, you still having fun, still sipping, but the environment is much lighter. I'm not saying that there aren't, those risk factors that you might deal with, but it's definitely much lighter, literally and figuratively. Like, people are more relaxed, there's less drama, less chance of people getting into fights. And if you've been drinking, you still got time to sober up, eat, and get home safely before dark. That's a win-win in my book. All right. Now, let's talk about, the fashion real quick. All right. Let's talk about the fits. All right. So at nighttime parties, yeah, you might wear something flashy, but the lighting, I'm about to say lightning. The lighting is what I meant to say, guys, is dim. It's crowded. People barely see your outfit unless someone shines a phone light on you for a story or for like an Instagram reel or for a TikTok reel or something, right? But at a Caribbean day party, bro, the sun becomes your ring light. Your outfit is popping in every angle. Sundresses flowing. Linen shirts unbuttoned, sunglasses on, skin glowing. You can serve full looks and get those IG flicks in golden hour lightning, bro. Like, I don't know why I keep saying lightning. Lighting, guys. It's like a fashion runway, pretty much. Just think about it. You can express yourself more freely. Check out my boy right there. He feeling himself. You can definitely stand out more and definitely feel good about yourself. You can express yourself more freely. You got the bright colors, the crop tops. It's all welcoming to a day party, And I kind of want to get into the crowd. The crowd at day parties, especially Caribbean ones, is very much different. Night events bring in, the let's just be seen crowd. You know what I'm saying? You got those people. You got people standing around. They're not really dancing. They're scanning the room. More about image than interaction, if you think about it. But Caribbean day parties, the crowd is usually there to mingle. All right? They're usually there to mingle. They're usually there to dance. You know what I'm saying? And celebrate. You'll see couples dancing, friends in groups. They just vibing. Strangers becoming, besties over shared rum. Like, the atmosphere is community oriented. It's warm and it's just really vibrant. And guess what? For the fellas out there, women love day parties, man. They love day parties. You know why they love day parties? You know why? Because it's safer, fun, and way more photo friendly. That's just the truth. It's a great space to actually connect and vibe with people instead of just yelling in someone's ear over and over again at 1 a.m. Pretty much. As you can see, I set my camera down there because I think I was getting something, but, oh, yeah, I was getting something. But anyways, yeah, so I want to get into, the other aspect, right? I want to talk about the music. Let's talk about the music real quick, all right? So at most nightclubs, the DJs might stick to, a mix of, the hip hop and whatever trending on TikTok. Cool. But I think it gets repetitive fast, sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that the same thing doesn't happen, at a Caribbean day party. I think at the end of the day, it really comes down more so to the DJ, right? Because, obviously, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. DJs, they'll play. They play what they feel like playing, So it really comes down to the DJ. But I think in some cases, depending on the time of day, they will play music that, correlates to the environment and the outing in itself. And I think, you have some DJs that do adapt, pretty well, to that, to that type of environment, that you're in. Because I did notice, especially at this event right here, I did notice that a lot of vibes A lot of music selection. The music selection that was played was, it was literally catered more so to the crowd and to the, the overall environment, and the timing of the day. Like, everything just kind of just flowed nicely. It literally felt like you were in the islands. Like a lot of like, especially when it came to the soca, like a lot of music that was played was catered to the type of environment. And here, I'm moving the camera all over the place because I was kind of dancing here and just enjoying myself. So that's why I was moving the camera a lot here, guys. But eventually, I do stabilize it eventually. But I was definitely dancing and moving. So you see the whole little camera shake and whatnot. But I was lit, man. I was enjoying myself. I was having the best time of my life here. I want to talk about also the sleep and recovery. All right, so let's be real. All right, I want to be real with you guys. A lot of us folks are getting much older. Okay, we're getting much older. That 3 a.m. bedtime, not the move anymore for a lot of people. I gotta be honest with you, man. It's not the move anymore. After a Caribbean day party, you get home at 8 or 9 p.m. You take a shower, you eat some food, you sit back, you chill, you watch Netflix, and still in bed before midnight. You can literally wake up the next day energized, productive, and still reliving the vibes in your head. Like, literally, man. Compare that to a night event where you're sleeping till 1 p.m. the next day. Head is pounding. You're dehydrated. Your phone is dead and wondering where you left your earring or your debit card and, your whole wallet and stuff. Nah, man. You see, this is where day parties kind of win again. You feel me? And, let's talk about the cost real quick. All right. This was actually like an interesting topic I want to talk about. And I actually did write this one down because I think I wanted to talk about this one. Let's talk about the money. Day parties, I'm not saying that it's not expensive or that it can't be expensive, but they're usually cheaper. They usually are cheaper, at least from my experience. And then depending on the event, it'll come with like free food, bottomless brunch options or drink specials before 4 p.m. Night parties, like a lot of them, you paying like 50, 60 at the door. You know what I'm saying? And $20 for a watered down like drink, usually, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes. And the vibe might not even hit. But I think that's more like depending on the DJ though. Here I am dancing again and just having fun. Sorry guys for the camera movement, but when I'm jamming, I'm jamming. So, and plus, let me tell you something. At a Caribbean day party, it often feature live performances, dancers, drummers, sometimes even pop-up vendors selling island food, such as jerk chicken, patties, plantains, rice and peas. You name it. The experience is more, immersive, more cultural, and definitely, more satisfying. And as you can see in this event right here, this one was more so of a family friendly event. So kids, young adults, and the older folks can attend this event right here. So, and interesting, I also want to mention there was a performance after the event. So usually, you got people coming out and doing performances and doing poetry and stuff like that, of that nature. And let's talk about the culture, man. Like, just the overall culture. Like, let me ask you something. You ever been to like a Caribbean day party during Labor Day weekend in Brooklyn, or like a Caravana weekend in Toronto, or even Miami Carnival? It's not just a party; it's a cultural celebration, guys. Like, you see flags flying, Jamaica, Trini, all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the flags: Jamaica, Trini, Haiti, Barbados, Grenada, everyone representing. You hear patois, Creole, Spanish, and English in all of the same breath, like literally. You know what I'm saying? You're not just dancing, you're literally connecting. It's a taste of the islands, even if you're in a U.S. territory. So, just think about that. That kind of cultural unity and joy is hard to replicate at a typical nightclub. I'll be honest with you. So look, man, night events have their place. I'm not knocking them. Sometimes you want that sexy after dark scene. But if you haven't experienced a Caribbean day party yet, man, you are seriously missing out, and you have to experience it. It's fun. It's more safe. It's full of culture. You get the sunlight, the music, the food, the community, and you still get, at home at a good time. Caribbean people know how to turn up, and they know how to do it right in the day. So listen, next time you see a flyer for a rooftop reggae brunch or a day fete or a backyard bashment from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., pull up. Trust me, pull up. You will definitely thank me later. All right. This has been your boy. I enjoyed sharing this with you guys, man. I want you guys to, drop a like, drop a comment, share this video if you think that day parties are the wave. And, I want you guys to not waste the summer. That's my last message for you guys. Please do not waste the summer, man. I want you guys to come out, vibe out, and really have a good time. Life is too short. We got to go out and enjoy ourselves. Let's not make this just about you. Come out and, with your friends, your family, and just experience a good vibe like how we did right here. Okay? So, of course, if you are interested in events, hit me up in my IG, usher.nyc, and I'll let you guys know where some of the events will be next, similar to this one. It's your boy Usher, and have a good one, guys.